We're going to talk this morning about rifle barrels, specifically dimensionally, internal dimensions of rifle barrels. I don't know where what I'm going to describe here exactly began, but quite a number of years ago, it's my observation that the various rifle manufacturers selling rifles, Winchester, Remington, Savage, whoever it might happen to be, got together and decided to make the groove diameter of their barrels larger by anywhere from 1/1000th to perhaps 2/1000ths larger. Well, this creates an accuracy problem. This is a sloppy situation, and it isn't helped by bullet manufacturers making bullets undersized. If it says 284 diameter on the box, the bullet should be 284 diameter. I'll give them a little room, plus 1/10, minus 1/10. Not minus 1/2 to 7, 8, 10 thousandths of an inch smaller than size. I've measured many bullets that only measure about 2.833, 2.834, 2.835, not 2.84. So if you've got a barrel that's 1/1000ths over, look at the sloppiness that you've got. I know what all these barrels measure. I have bore gauges to measure every last barrel that I buy, and every barrel that I buy is a match quality barrel, and every barrel that come in here that's a match quality barrel is always either right on size, plus 1/10, or minus 1/10. This is what we expect. So this is in an area that really hasn't been talked about much at all. It should be very obvious that if you've got a barrel that's oversized, let's say that it's just 1/1000ths oversized and you're shooting a 7 Remington Magnum, with everything else considered to be the same, throat length, chamber dimensions, and so forth, that barrel is going to accept a little bit more of a powder charge than a barrel that everything else is the same except for the groove diameter of the barrel. The match barrel is 284, this factory barrel is 285. It only makes sense. You've got more area there, and it's going to be a little bit more forgiving. A grain, or maybe a couple grains more powder, you're going to have to use to get the performance out of that oversized barrel compared to the barrel that's on size. And I've applied this over my entire gun making career of over 50 years, and I've paid attention. I've seen many barrels that shoot reasonably well, say maybe 3, 4, 10 thousandths of an inch oversized, but when they start getting to be 1/1000ths oversized or 2/1000ths oversized, when somebody comes in here, says this rifle's not shooting, I measure the barrel, it's 2/1000ths oversized, I won't even bother to work the load up for the rifle. It's a waste of my time, and I'm not going to charge somebody for doing it because I know that they're not going to be satisfied. You're at the point where you need a new barrel to the proper dimensions for what you want to do. So this is what I observed. I don't know anybody else talking about it. I don't know anybody here that's writing for one of the gun publications that talk about it. Everybody talks about loads and one thing and another, but they don't seem to apply this factor ever to the situation. The other thing that you need to understand is that loading manuals, the loading manual is derived from shooting an individual particular rifle in a particular chambering under the conditions that they shot it in. That does not mean that your rifle's the same. It's not any more the same then I'm the same as the guy down the street. We're individuals. Rifle barrels and rifles are individuals. So what may be listed in your loading manual as the top charge that they use, top acceptable working charge that they used in that rifle, that doesn't mean that that applies to your rifle. You may not be able to load as much in a particular rifle that you have as what's in the loading manual, as well as there may be rifles that you can load more of a charge to get the performance. And quite honestly, it's misinformation to say never load more than what's in the loading manual. Well, let's say that we're loading 65 grains to Hodgson's 4831 with 160 nozzle partitions in a 7 Remington Magnum, and we're not getting the accuracy we're looking for. And that's the maximum charge that's listed in the loading manual. But if you load 66 grains, your groups go from inch groups to half-inch groups. Pretty easy to figure it out. If it works and you can load that cartridge for that rifle with those components 10, 12, 15 times, there's the proof that your load is just fine. You're not over maximum. You're at an ideal balance for your specific rifle, and this applies to every rifle that's ever been made in any chambering. You know, I've seen various situations. There's a lot of factors that are involved here, and it isn't just the groove diameter, the throat lengths, the finish of the barrels, and one thing and another, the temperatures and everything else. Temperature has a considerable effect on velocities of loads and so forth. And I shoot considerably early in the day. I'm almost always done here shooting by 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, because there's condition changes to do with weather, to do with a breeze, or maybe wind, or temperature, or one thing or another. Loads worked up in, say, a 40, 50 degree temperature are one thing. They're going to be something else. 75 degrees in the sun. Next thing is, don't leave your ammunition setting in the sun, irregardless of what the temperature is, because you're going to have some varying situations. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this for a long time, to do with groove diameter of barrels, and mostly because nobody's ever brought it up. You need to understand what your situation is.